Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Belle Collective. This is season 3. I think this is episode 18, I think. Anyways, I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. You can also share of this video and also leave your comments below, and also on my commentary you can comment on. All right, so it was a funny, interesting episode, and I think some of the energy has shifted on this show, and it really has to do with Akeisha and Willie being on screen. I'm sorry, it's just there's a different flow. There isn't all these repetitive conversations that don't mean nothing that we're just really getting sick and tired of hearing, and it's all been about Latrice. Is there anything else to talk about? All right, so here we go. Glenn is up. He's doing his thing. Of course, he's dedicating this song. We find out that music is Glenn and Letitia's love language. So he's doing this song, and everybody, including us, are looking just like Willie was. But look what he was trying to perform, too. So basically, we got this 90s rapper that need to retire before he starts, but whatever. Letitia loves it. She's crying and doing what she does, and that's what she loves, and that's what she's gonna stay true to. All right, so the next scene, Akeisha and Willie, they meet with Marie and Essie. They're planning a lupus event, and for Akeisha and Willie, it's near and dear to their hearts because Willie's mother had lupus. I don't know if she's still alive, but I guess we'll get to that another time. But they're partnering together to host this event. I think basically Akeisha and Willie are going to be somewhat silent partners and let them do their thing. Of course, they are helping with all the planning. They go visit a venue and actually taste the food. I'm like, we finally get an event where you actually preparing something and not just throwing stuff together like these brunches. I'm just saying. We got too many dirty cold plate complaints. Keith Lee, where you at? Do you visit the brunches? Like event brunches? Please do it quickly. All right, so they're there. They're just coming up with what's going to happen during the event. And then Essie wants to talk about this rap because she's Essie with the mess, of course. So they start talking about this rap. They don't really look. It's a nice gesture, but not for them. Not for some 40-year-old to do. And we get it. We get it. And then Marie gets on Glenn's case, as she normally does, and just saying that he always is doing this type of stuff and just trying to get back in his good graces. And he's more talk and not action. And he's just going to do what he do again. Akeisha and Willie, they're just asking, so how do you know all this? It's just like my husband, when I just finally had to put the foot down, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe that Marie put the foot down because what we saw last season, she was bribing her husband to spend time with her and the family. She said for the family. But you had to give a watch for him to just show up for the children. You can't convince me otherwise that he was trying to stick around. That's the point I'm going with. And you act like I just let him go, like it was your choice. No, he let you go a long time ago. Unless there's more to it, you won't really talk about your real stuff. You'll talk about everybody else's stuff and everyone surrounding you stuff. You'll talk about your illness, which is cool. I think Essie said that she's had it at lupus since what? Did she say 98? Or maybe sooner than that. But I think 2018 was like Marie, but she was sick for 2 years. I guess a lot of African Americans and Hispanics deal with it. And it takes a while for doctors to actually diagnose you with it. When Willie's mother received it, they were doing all these other tests, like does she have HIV or AIDS, because it's hard to pinpoint. But of course, I'm sure doctors would love to put the HIV and AIDS thing on Black people. So I think that was kind of stereotypical and biasness of how they view the Black community also. So that was about it. It was just Marie going off on clan. But whatever. That's what you do, and you stay in other people's business. Now that you're not focusing solely on Latrice, it's now time to keep moving on this whole Glenn and Letitia thing. It's not that I don't even disagree with you, Marie. I just wish you weren't the messenger because of how you lead your life. Let's see what is next because we got a lot of Akeisha. The men, they meet up. Willie brings everyone together just to kind of chill, the men together, to chill, have cigars, catch up, whatever, blah, 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 blah. First is Willie and Cliff. Basically, Willie just trying to check a Cliff about how he's doing things towards Glenn. JJ shows up and then Glenn afterwards. They start talking about this whole book, about this side piece. Cliff is trying to put in Glenn's mind and everyone else's mind. She's talking about these side pieces. What about her side piece? I mean, I think it's deflection, but at the same time, Letitia, I'm a little. Then I just all of a sudden thought about Martell on Love and Marriage Huntsville and how he likes to deflect and act like he wasn't the only one doing things in the marriage. Like, that don't mean nothing to me because it's like if, let's say you go out and cheat, and then at this point I go out and cheat because it's like, well, you're not going to be faithful. People, I don't think it's right to do that in the marriage, like to get your lick back. But guess what? You done betrayed the marriage vows, the relationship commitments, and all this good stuff. So, hey, I did something too. I'm not saying it's right, but don't act like it's a worthy point as to make yourself look better in this whole situation and vilify somebody else. That's pride, and you need to take ownership for what you do. Anyways, Willie's getting on him, telling Cliff, you're putting all these ideas in his mind. First, everything's all lovey-dovey, and the next thing you know, they got all these issues, and it's because you entering in and all that. Cliff is looking so unfazed and just smoking his cigarette. Like, I know I'm right, and I just don't really care. So, but I mean, I thought Glenn was going through therapy. So how is Cliff's voice bigger than the therapist? How does he have this much influence? I do not believe that Glenn just one day just acted funny towards her. Because Letitia, this is the first time you actually moved out. And it looks like all he had to do was sing and give you some D, and everything was good. So you wanting us to believe, oh, he's just changed and he's just so being influenced, and I don't know how we're going to get back on track. But you've been taking him back and back and back and back and back and back and back for less. That's why it's hard for me to get with Letitia and Glenn, because they don't really tell the truth, and you just kind of got to put the pieces together, because you're not going to tell me, oh, Cliff. And I'm not even taking up for him, because I don't even have respect for that dude after what he did during part A of this season. Like, no, you don't be pulling on and yanking on your wife. I don't care. Anyways, so JJ also gives his 2 cents. You can tell that there is some fire coming up out of his ponytail at Cliff. Like, you're not no friend to him. Da, 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 da. But then all of a sudden it turns back over to Selena, and she cheating with him. And Cliff said, hey, I didn't even know she was married, so I don't know why you got smoke for me. Don't think that I'm doing all this in their marriage and all that. That stuff was already there. You know, I mean, how much more influence? Letitia and Glenn are a mess. They are trying to hold on to something that happened in their high school years. And Letitia, you want it, stay back there. Even though you did elevate, but hey, he's able to just sing you a song and get your panties wet. Go ahead. So yeah, JJ is very weird. Now, last season when they were talking about Selena, it was such that guy misogynism type of feel where I had her, you had her, da, da, da. And it's sickening. It was sickening last year. Like, it was that type of talk to me. And now this year, right after the fight, now JJ can't stand Cliff. Because he talked about, well, she was calling him right after the fight. Okay. And there's some other issues that we're not getting out of JJ, So Gucci, Letitia, and Glenn. We can pinpoint and know exactly what's going on with Latrice and Cliff, but we don't. They really don't want to talk about their lives. And there's something going on with this whole Selena thing. And it keeps appearing that, what's his face, JJ is not over his ex. And So Gucci looking like a fool, in my opinion. All right, so the next scene is with Akeisha and Tamra. She's working on her health, Akeisha, since she got not the diagnosis, but, high blood pressure and all that stuff. It needs to come down. Eating all them pig ears and all that good stuff. So she's exercising and all that good stuff. So Tamra and Akeisha finally have the talk. And she talks about her fibroids being taken out. She's going through this whole story when she could have just said, I'm pregnant. You know, I don't know why Tamara does that, but I guess that's the radio part in her where you got to preface everything. No, I'm pregnant. So she just shared her IVF story, which I think was great. And Akeisha was very welcoming and excited for her. We've needed this type of energy on the show. Nobody, I mean, there's friendships. We know Letitia and Marie are friends, and Maria's friends with Essie, but all they do is get around and gossip and not really, they don't seem real. They're too busy trying to come after Latrice. Like, what is your friendship about? And of course, every day can't be sunny, but y'all don't have no good days. I mean, Marie and Letitia did have that moment where she was setting her up on this fake date, which was a waste of time. But it's not, there's just this joy. I think Akeisha just radiates. She's my favorite. Latrice and Akeisha are my favorites. And she just lights up, and I think that she's been held in the background, and hopefully that she's utilized, as I've said in previous videos. So shout out to them being more active this part B of the season, because we've needed them. So they just, you know, Akeisha, I knew it, blah, 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 blah. Good. All right, so we got done with that scene. Congratulations again to Tamara. What was next? Akeisha goes and visits Marie. She's following up to go to the next steps of their plan. She's sold 3 tables. I think they're like $400 a piece. They didn't really come up with a price for the tables and all that, but she kind of just narrowed it down. Okay, $50 and then $400 a table. She sold 3 for what she was going to do. I guess the idea is that Marie and Essie and Willie and Akeisha, they both sell 5 tables each separately, or each, you know. So that'd be a total of 10 tables. She's already got 3. And Akeisha's like, how many y'all got? Marie is so ill prepared. According to Marie, Essie is the CFO and COO, and she handles and manages all of that. Essie could not make it. So she has nothing. She has no notes. She's unprepared. She just says that, you know, Essie handles all that, and I just signed a check. You don't want to be involved, so you're just faces on there. That sounds very Hilton of you, in my opinion. So there's a little friction there, because it's like, you know, Akeisha's on top of stuff, and you're getting annoyed at Akeisha asking all these questions because she don't know the order of your business, but you don't even know anything, but you're wanting to meet, so we just wasted screen time. But it did reveal your own insecurities that we see every week. But Latrice is the problem, and Latrice wasn't even in this episode. She was dancing with Cliff, and that's it, but that's all we got. So nothing's prepared, basically, and you can even see that I don't know what Marie does. Sometimes she's in her scrubs, so it just looks like she's the face of the company, because she's in this office, and you can see that she doesn't even do anything in that office. It looked like a rented room, just like the teacher does, just to have these business meetings like we're doing all this business work. That's what it looks like. I mean, show us something different, and I have a different opinion, but I don't right now. Let's see. So the last scene, Letitia and Glenn, they've been asked by some bank owners to do this commercial. Glenn is late, and he shows up. He's talking about in his confessional that I had to get myself together to be fashionably late, to be fashionably good. So whatever. So we find out that what the real reason why he's really late. So Letitia's going to get paid for the commercial, and it's going to be out of Letitia Pearson Enterprises. There were some last minute changes to the contract, and Glenn has some issues about it, and he's been wanting his lawyers and her lawyers to talk, and I guess that hasn't happened. So he decided to act a fool at shooting time. So he was like, well, I need to talk to you. And he tries to excuse them when they were supposed to actually start shooting. So they start talking there, but then they get up and go to another room, start talking about all of this. I want to be on Glenn's side in all of this, because it's not like y'all are together. Y'all still dating. And Letitia's like, well, what do you think I'm going to do? I would never cheat you out of anything. I've never done that to you before. Blah, 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 blah. I guess there's been other things. I don't know. We're not privy to it. We just have to guess with those two. So, he's just talking about, I don't feel comfortable because I want to make sure I'm getting my money right. It's like there were some changes where he was going to get a less percentage anyways, but supposed to be paid out of Letitia Enterprises. And I guess how he was talking, and Letitia got mad, like, oh, you sound like Cliff. You know what, Cliff and Latrice stay on these folks' mind. And Cliff was like, that's why I brought it up to him. I know he was telling me some of the right things, blah, 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 blah. it's like I can't be mad at Glenn, but at the same time, it looked like you wanted to cause a scene in front of these folks, and it sounds like sabotage to me. That's what it looks like to me. Even though I want to be on your side legally about things, I don't know how Letitia does business. I would assume that she would treat people that she has in her on her side right, but I don't know how she does business. I know how she does brunches, so I can't be 100% mad at Glenn about this, but I don't like the way that he's showing up, because you didn't even have to show up. You could have canceled everything, let Letitia do everything, but you show up right in front of them being crazy and causing a show. I mean, you gave us some content to look at, but from another perspective, you crazy. So Glenn, right now, okay, let's go do this thing. You put your game face on. I got my game face on. Right? So whatever, they don't agree, and we'll have to see next week, because that's the ending. Of course, there wasn't anything eventful, but I'm glad that things have shifted, because it was getting kind of like stale. So we'll have to see a little bit. It looks like Marie about to show her more of her tail next week, and I'm here to judge it and keep calling her out about it. But please tell me what you think of this episode. Please like and share this video, and also subscribe. And until the next video, peace.